Hello, and thank you for joining this very brief story about Expel's journey with Sage Intacct. Expel is one of the leading managed security operations firm based in Maryland and on fire in their growth. Joining me is Zach Blaine, the controller of Expel. Zach, in a nutshell, what does Expel do?
Sure. So we're a security operations center as a service. So that's a play on the old SaaS motif. And what we do is we plug into our clients' existing security software, and we basically curate and distill all of the alerts that come through into sort of a manageable, digestible set of alerts that are actually actionable. We also have analysts behind the scenes that are monitoring all of this activity. If we do find a bad guy, we chase that bad guy out of the environment and kind of give you a full report on what just happened. Um, so that's us in a nutshell. Excited to be here, David.
They protect you from the bad guys and are experts at doing it. And very briefly, this is the Expel journey. It represents so many of your journeys, starting over there on the left-hand side, where you get to a growth problem on what you've done before, and a simple solution doesn't scale anymore, and using spreadsheets, particularly in billing, and then financial automation, and such as revenue and closing the books. And we're being very briefly, so if you want to, you can pause the video in order to read this a little bit further. But Zach, in a nutshell, what has been the biggest impact from automating finance to delivering great business outcomes?
Absolutely. So, I think the biggest outcome is we're able to put the financial information in front of our leadership a whole lot faster, and it's a lot richer. So it has all of this context and quality that it didn't have before. The other piece to that is that information is only good if it's timely, right? So by taking all of our data and putting it into the contracts module, we're able to close the books a whole lot faster and get that in front of people, almost real time.
Handle so much more volume with so much more efficiency, and then with such better business outcomes. We're going to go there in just a second on improving margin and then operational cash flow that comes out of this, and getting recognized for it with the fundraising. Your pricing model is very straightforward. I like this because it's both high ACV, but it's also very clear that you've got different tranches that you do in the subscription, and you've got the data in order to pull this in. So we want to talk about briefly the dashboard. This is dummy data. It's not the Expel data, but it's representative of the dashboard that you've created to be able to share with the executive team. So all that automation creates insights. What does the executive team do with the data you provided them?
Well, the executives now have at their fingertips the company's performance nearly real time. And so, what they can do with that is identify areas, that are performing really well, double down on those specific items or customer industries, or they can compare some of this data against budget and see how we're performing. So, when we make the spend or strategic investments, they conform to sort of how we're performing from a top line perspective. Yeah.
Well, it's perfect. This is the data you want to see, not only the core financial data that comes out of a great financial system, but then because you've also got billing and revenue cash in it, the SaaS metrics of what's happening with CAC, what's happening with gross dollar churn, net revenue churn, your CLTV to CAC ratio, gross margin, because you've also got expenses in there that the billing only solutions don't allow you to do. And informing all that creates great business outcome, which gets us into this last great article in Forbes by one of your investors about what Expel has been able to do during the pandemic, that you're able to do market analysis, know your business fundamentals and metrics, and be able to come out with a great, creative, differentiated, customer-centric pricing model to be able to do that. You want to share briefly what this looked like? Because we just went through how the data got created. What did the executive team do by being well informed?
Absolutely. We understood that our customers needed flexibility during this time more than anything else. They wanted a solution that met their need because they still care deeply about security, but maybe their cash position didn't support a large outflow of money at that time. So we were able to sort of do the math and run the numbers behind the scenes because we had it all in one place, and understand what that customer profile looked like and what our target customers' behavior would look like. And ultimately, we made the right call here because we've seen a lot of traction on this sort of pivot.
It's a great job because all this is always people, process, and technology. By knowing what success looks like, understanding who your customer is, and then putting the great automation in place allows you to get the reporting in order to forecast better and create a better business. Uh, Zach, thank you so much for sharing that story with us. I hope all of you learned from this very brief video a little bit of a model about what you can do in creating a great SaaS business for yourself. Thank you very much.